Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks. Welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We've got 4 locations to help you out when your computer is just pooping along and not doing what it's supposed to do. Maybe doing it a little more slowly than you would like. Maybe it's, not doing anything at all. Maybe it's booting to that BIOS screen. Maybe, maybe you got an infection or, maybe you got a ransomware attack. We've seen it all this week over at Schrock Innovations. 4 locations to help you out. The OG Schrock Innovations located just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska, we've got 168th and Burke Street, just across the street from the Village Point Mall where the rent is slightly cheaper. And then we've got Papillion, 84th and Highway 370 in the Midlands Place Shopping Center. We had a couple of our neighbors actually. One neighbor moved and one neighbor went out of business. So there's 2 open bays in there. So if you want to be our neighbor, hey, they would love to have you, I'm sure. And then in West Des Moines, Iowa, 9500 University Avenue, the newest Schrock Innovations there, open during the pandemic because, hey, why not? We can't have events. We're all wearing masks. Let's have an open house. That sounds super smart, Thor. Well, it turns out it was. So there we go. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us on the program today. As we're going to do every show, we give away a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate at the end of the program. So when you call in, we'll capture your name and your phone number. It's not because we want to date you. It's because we're trying to give you money. And then we'll draw at the end and somebody will win. So ask a question. Make a comment. If you have a question or a thought about something or you're wondering about something, there are hundreds of other people listening that have the same question, that have the same thought, that are curious about the same thing. The only difference between you and them is you're brave enough to call in and they're not. And you're $25 more wealthy than they are, too. Yeah, so not a bad deal there as well. If you're outside of the Omaha metro area, you can reach us at 888-250-2091. Now, last week, if you missed the program, it was pretty good, actually. It was one of those shows like, I don't want to say we ever have a bad show, but you have great shows that you're like, wow. And then you have shows that you're like, hey, that was pretty good. There was wow last week. So if you missed it, it's up at SchrockInnovations.com. Also, you can pick up the main program on Rumble as well as YouTube. After Schrock is well available. Last week, we told you about the ongoing Maintenance Checkup sale. It's going on here for the next 13 days or so. We talked about how Schrock Business just absolutely crushed it at the Nebraska Chiropractic Physicians Association convention. Funny story from the convention that has to do with butt cracks and ears. And we're going to tell that story during the after Schrock, so we don't get in trouble with Scott here. It was just the stuff you see at a chiropractic convention is pretty interesting stuff. We also explained the bill to ban TikTok and how it is actually a bill to give one person the power to ban any software they like that they think might be produced or influenced by an adversarial nation. We also told you about character.ai. Now, this was kind of fun because it allows you to have like AI-based conversations with historical figures, and they tried to clone their personalities as best they could in the AI. So, if you try to talk to Shakespeare, he's really rude. He's really rude. If you try to talk to Elon, he sounds like Elon. It's kind of weird. So just fun stuff there that you can play around with as well. Coming up on the program for you today, however, one of the things that we're going to mention about the maintenance checkup, and we had a corporate training session that made me think about some things in a different way. And I thought, I'm not explaining the maintenance checkup properly when I'm on the air. So I'm going to take this from a slightly different angle today. So I'm not going to bore you with the same shtick, 8 hours of work and all that stuff all over again. Don't worry about that, but I am going to talk about that a little bit here. If you're a Roku subscriber, you may need to do something with your password because somebody else might have it. We're going to tell you what to do there. We're going to give you another update on Drive Advisor. If you're coming in for maintenance checkups right now, when you got your computer home again, you probably saw that you have the new Drive Advisor. So we're going to tell you what's going on there and talk about all the updates that are coming out. Basically, we are cranking out updates, sometimes 1 or 2 a day, just correcting small things. We're going to go over that and tell you what you want to do with Drive Advisor on your computer. And also a really, a creepy but cool story about we've talked about this for a while about how eventually robotics and chat GPT are going to merge together, and you're going to have like a robot that seems to be able to have a conversation with you. Well, we're there. There's a prototype of this, and I watched the 2-minute video. I'm going to describe it to you guys because, on one hand, it was a little creepy. On the other hand, from a technical perspective, right? Not from like a Terminator, they're going to kill us all kind of perspective, but from like just a technical person looking at it, it was absolutely amazing to see what they were able to accomplish right now. How imperfect it is, but what a stride it is from anything that we've ever seen before. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us, 888-250-2091. So I mentioned we had a training session for our senior leadership at Schrock. So this would be, myself, operations manager, director of Schrock Interactive, as well as all of our senior technicians. Each service center has 2 senior technicians, a lead senior technician and a secondary. So think about it like a manager and assistant manager, and then, of course, the junior technicians below them. So all the managers basically got together in one room, and we did this training session. It was a CrestCom training session. And during this training session, there was a topic that came up, and I won't get into all the details just because of time here, but it is entirely possible to do exactly what a customer has asked you to do, to meet all expectations that a customer has of you, and still have that customer walk away from that exchange feeling like they didn't get value. It's possible for you to do everything right and still fail. Let me give you an example. Let's say you bring in a laptop because your screen is cracked, and the customer comes in and says, my screen is broken. How much to fix my screen? We get this email like every day at Schrock, literally every day. So, okay, here's the cost to fix this screen. We need to get the model, all that stuff. Okay, the cost is usually about this. So we can give you a quick estimate over the phone, tell you what it's going to cost. So you bring it in. Now, if we just replace the screen, if we do exactly what you asked us to do for the exact price we quoted, and we give you a high-quality screen for that price, and you take the computer home, only to find out later that the hard drive is failing and the memory is bad, or the AC adapter isn't putting out the right wattage, it's shutting down because it can't charge the battery and run at the same time. If you find all that out after you pay us to put a new screen in the computer, well, you're going to be pretty upset that you paid for a new screen in that computer when there were other problems with the machine that we should have detected. You should have known that when you looked at it. Well, you never asked us to look at it. So at Schrock, one of the things that we try to do is, we try to look at a computer holistically, the whole computer. So when you come in for your broken screen, a lot of customers will get a little, grumpy that we actually do diagnostics on every computer that we see. Why do we do that? Because if we find more bad things with the computer, that might change your decision about what you want to do. Not because we want to sell you a new computer. We make a lot more money fixing your old computer, honestly, than we do selling you a new one. There's not a lot of money in hardware. The money is in the labor, and we don't charge labor on new computers. So selling you a new computer, if it's the right thing to do for you, is what we're going to suggest. If you choose to repair it, well, then now you know exactly what it's going to take to get the computer home and have a computer that works reliably. So I thought about the way that we present the maintenance checkup, how I did it. I listened to last week's show myself, the opener, and everything was focused on what we do for you during the maintenance checkup, what you get for your $59.99. Now, normally it's $100. So $59.99 is obviously about 40-point-something% off. It is an absolutely unheard of discount in any kind of service industry right now. You can't buy a Groupon for 40% off anything right now. So a maintenance checkup for 40% off is a hell of a deal. Now you can come into the service center just on demand. This is going on through the end of the month. There is no need to, make an appointment or anything like that. The guys are putting in extra hours, especially on the weekends, to make sure turnaround times are looking good. Or if you just can't make it in right now because it's inconvenient, you can go to our website at SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and Specials, and you can buy a maintenance checkup certificate. It's good for 6 months, so you can use it any time in the next 6 months. It costs $60. You pay the $60 now. You get an email. We don't have to print it or keep it. We keep it all on file at Schrock. You just bring your computer in when it's ready for you and say, I want to redeem my maintenance checkup. And we look it up and we redeem it for you. It's that easy. So I presented all the things that we do, why it's important, what, you want your heat exchanger on your furnace. I compared it to home maintenance, all the things to try to make you understand or help you understand why this is something you want to do with your computer. But I didn't focus on the secondary concerns. So, for example, what are you trying to do when you buy a maintenance checkup? The example they gave in the training session is no one has ever bought a newspaper because they wanted a newspaper. Not a single time ever. Now, of course, my brain immediately went to what about the guy with the bird? He's going to buy a newspaper. But, nobody has ever bought a newspaper because they wanted a newspaper. Why do people buy newspapers? Because they want what's inside the newspaper. They want the information, the news, the sports, the gossip. They want all that stuff. So they buy a newspaper in order to get what they want. So when you are coming in for a maintenance checkup for your computer, has anybody ever bought a maintenance checkup because they wanted a maintenance checkup? Probably not. I mean, there are some people out there that compulsively try to maintain their computer. It's like people listen to radio shows like this one and a couple other ones out there, and they're like, I found a new utility that optimizes my registry. And you're like, oh, actually, the program that's running is using more resources than it's freeing up. So you're actually worse off than you were when you started. But that's a story for another day. So no one ever bought a maintenance checkup because they wanted a maintenance checkup. People buy maintenance checkups because they don't want their computer to suddenly not turn on one day. When you get in your car and you turn that key or you push that button, you expect your car to start. When you push the power button on your laptop or your desktop computer, you expect the computer to turn on, boot up, and do what you need it to do. Until the day that it doesn't. And that failure seems really sudden, doesn't it? Like it was working yesterday. What's going on here? You hit the button and then boom, nothing. Well, you don't want to experience that. You don't want to have that feeling when your computer blue screens on you and says, can't access the hard drive, and you reboot and you get that BIOS screen because the computer can't find the hard drive. So you bring it into the shop and you find out your hard drive has died. And now your choices are, because of course you didn't have a backup, or your backup was off or whatever. So you have to go into data recovery and pay a boatload of money there. Less than you'd pay anywhere else, I'll say. But still, nobody wants to spend $400 or $800 to get their data back if they don't have to. And then you got to fix the computer too. You got to put a new hard drive in the computer. You don't want to go through that. You don't want to have a situation where you're in the middle of working on some big project and then your computer blue screens on you with a memory error. And because when you load Windows, it loads random to different areas of memory for security purposes. Sometimes it'll run for a week without going kaboom. And sometimes it'll kaboom every time you turn it on because you have a bad stick of memory. You have a bad memory cell in the computer. One of those chips isn't working. And as a result, randomly, it just blue screens and poops out on you. You don't want to go through that. You don't want to have a situation where your battery starts to swell so badly that you can't click the touchpad anymore. And literally the computer's shell will separate into two pieces, pulling the screws through the lid. So the back plate of the laptop, it will literally swell so much inside that pancake battery that it will pull apart the plastic shell, even though the screws are still in it. So literally just pulls the screws right through the screw holes. Obviously, we could just unscrew those screws and, oh, shoot, no, we need a new back plate. We need a new battery. Oh, man, and not to mention the fire hazard. You don't want to go through that. So why do people actually buy maintenance checkups? People buy maintenance checkups because they want to rely on their technology. They want it to work when they hit that button. They want to know that their hard drive is okay, that their battery is okay, that their memory is okay, that their fans have been cleaned out and are moving air like they're supposed to and temperatures are where they need to be. You want to know that these things are okay. And when you know they're okay, you have some peace of mind that if something weird or wonky happens, it's not because your hardware is bad. There's something else going on. Now, just like if you take your car in for maintenance or you maintenance your air conditioner or something like that in the spring, and, in the hottest day of the year, it seems, in the summer, your air conditioner will, have an issue. Sometimes machines break. So what we're trying to do here is minimize the odds of having that machine break for you at an inconvenient time. This shifts the control of the situation into your hands. You can choose to repair something that's starting to fail when it's cheaper to fix it before the failure. Or if you're not going to keep that computer, you don't fix it at all and you run it into the dirt. That's fine. You can do that. But at least you have that power. You have that knowledge going into it. That's what you get from a maintenance checkup. That's why this is the most popular sale we do all year long at Schrock Innovations. So the maintenance checkup sale of 2024 is going on right now. It's going to go through the end of the month. It's about 13 or so days left, depending on when you're hearing the program here. We will carry it through the first week of March for the Lincoln Service Center because you guys have a week tape delay on the radio show. We want to make sure that you actually have the same opportunity as everybody else. If you're hearing me right now and you haven't purchased a maintenance checkup certificate yet, do yourself a favor and pick one up. It's a 40% savings right now because it's $60. If you have something blow up in your face, an hour of labor is $140. There is nothing we're going to fix for $60 at Schrock Innovations. I mean, even recycling a monitor costs $20. So that's just getting rid of something. I mean, this is for $60, the maintenance that we do, the cleanup that we do, we fix minor errors. We install all the updates that are outstanding, all the security stuff. We scan you for viruses and malware. I mean, it's 8 hours of work on your computer for $60. You can either bring the computer into the service center, no appointment required, any of the 4 service centers, or you can go to our website at SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and Specials, and just add a maintenance checkup certificate to your cart and check out. You can buy you can buy as many as you want. Just keep in mind they're good for 6 months. So if you have one computer, I wouldn't buy more than one, okay? But if you have, kids that are at college, for example, or getting ready to go off to college, grab some maintenance certificates. When they're back on a break, have their computer maintenance. It's a perfect time to do it. And they're good for 6 months. So check that out, SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and then Specials, add it to your cart, and go ahead and check out, or just come into the service center when it's convenient for you. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. We're going to take our first break of the program. When we come back, Jim, your call is coming up next on Compute This.
Laptops are subjected to some of the most stressful computing situations imaginable. They get dropped, stepped on, slapped shut, and pushed until the battery dies sometimes. Your laptop works hard for you, so when it has a problem, take it to the laptop experts at Schrock Innovations. Schrock has 4 convenient service centers in Nebraska and Iowa, with more than 100 total bench spots to get your technology up and running again. Schrock has the largest supply of replacement components in stock, and we fix more laptops than any other nearby repair center. Why wait weeks to get your computer fixed when Schrock can diagnose the problem, provide you with a friendly and accurate estimate, and fix it usually in 2 days or less? Remember, if you have never been into our service centers before, new customers get their first hour of labor free. So the next time your laptop screen gets cracked, the keys pop off your keyboard, or your 2-year-old decides a glass of milk is exactly what your laptop needs to cool off, take it to Schrock and let your local laptop repair experts get it back in top shape again.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it.
Have you noticed that almost every piece of technology seems to do its best to be disposable? Every day, people toss their phones, tablets, and other electronic devices because they can't be repaired. Manufacturers have engineered their products to fail on a schedule so they can extract more money out of your family budget automatically every year or so. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you could get the performance of today's fastest computers with the expansion and upgrade options you used to enjoy? You just described Schrock's modular desktop computers. Having the right tool for the job is important, and Schrock's modular desktop PCs pack the performance and flexibility to handle your computing needs, from just checking the email to running a complex business. Modular desktops are engineered to be easily repaired with widely available industry standard parts. Every component is selected intentionally to give you years of upgrade and repair options. It is not uncommon for a Schrock customer to be using the same computer for a decade after they bought it. Modular PCs are the most popular custom computers in the Midwest for a reason. When you are ready for your next computer, stop in to check out the modular lifestyle or shop online at SchrockInnovations.com.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. My name's Thor Schrock. You're listening to Compute This. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091 outside the metro area. Jim, thanks for hanging on the line there. I promised you were next. And here you go. You're live on Compute This. How can I help you today?
Well, good morning. I just want to pay homage to one of your wonderful employees, Austin. He went over and beyond in taking care of putting Sophos on my devices. I had 8 devices. He came out to the house to install those. He ran into some issue with 3 of the devices, took 2 of them back to your location in La Vista. He played with it for a day, came back and said, can't get it done. We're having issues. Sophos has finally admitted that they're having an issue with the
Mac installer.
Yes. And about 4 months later, actually it was only 4 weeks, 4 weeks later he calls up and says, I'm going to come out and I'm going to do it. And he came out, and an hour later they all were up and running, and everything was great. He would profusely apologized for the length of time, which, quite frankly, I was just happy that he followed up. A lot of places don't do that these days, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
He just was awesome. I think you need to give him a yellow cape with SAA on it for super awesome Austin.
Well, we need to come up with some differentiation because we have 2 Austins in that service center. So we started calling them by their last names, or if you're sending an email and you're going to send one to Austin Taylor, just AT, and Austin Nice is AN. So ATAN Nice Taylor. Otherwise people call in and they say, Austin's amazing, and it's like they don't ask. No, the 2 Austins figure, if we don't ask them to specify, then we can both take credit for every compliment.
Oh, see, I think
twice as many raises.
The delineation there would be the yellow cape.
Exactly. And the acronym, we can have that there too. Hey, thank you for the call, Jim. I really appreciate you being patient with us and with that Mac installer. For those of you who don't know what the heck is going on here, Sophos is available on PC, Mac, Linux, mobile devices like Android, Apple, the iPhone, and it's recommended for all of those devices. We install Sophos hundreds of times a week at Schrock for different clients and customers, both business and consumer. An issue happened last month, of course, during the Sophos sale, because that would be the most convenient time. It happens to us too, guys, where one of the installer, Apple pushed an update for the iOS, and the Sophos installer was not working properly, the one that was supplied by Sophos. So we, through Amy, tapped our Silver Partner Connection representative at Sophos. We were able to confirm with Sophos by having them try to install on the computer via remote access that this was not working. They didn't even know that there was an issue with the Mac installer because of the update that just happened the day before. So we were the first people to make sure that they were aware of that. And then it took them a few weeks to actually get that sorted out and figure out why it wasn't working. And once they got it working, Austin followed up, got it installed for our customer, and we're good to go. So thank you for the call, Jim. I appreciate you protecting 8 devices with us. It means a lot to us to have your business. And this week we literally saw a customer that has 135 computers or something that got hit with a nasty cyber incident. And with Sophos installed on your machines, that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And Sophos, this isn't like the Sophos home stuff you can buy if you go to sophos.com. This is the Schrock Group policy that we make for all of our customers, where we are actively managing the threatscape for your computer in real time. In some cases, personally, like Austin or Amy or myself. So thank you very much for your call, Jim. I appreciate it. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us on the program. Roku users, if you have Roku, there was a situation this week where around thousands of Roku accounts were compromised. Now, Roku says they do not believe that their databases were compromised. In other words, they don't think somebody broke into Roku and stole people's passwords. They think people just used the same password for their Roku account that they do for some other account that got compromised. So in other words, out there on the internet somewhere, they said, here's your email address and here's all the known passwords associated with that email address. And then some guy went and wrote a bot that went to Roku, typed in your email address, and then each of the known passwords that have been, stolen from other websites. And if you use the same password on 2 websites, well, then voila, you're in. People do that. So if you were compromised in this situation, first of all, you have to be a Roku subscriber. Secondly, what they did with your account is I don't know how they made money off of this, but once they compromised your account, they subscribed you for all the things. Like all of a sudden you're like, the whale channel? I'm not really into whales. I didn't even know it was Shark Week. What the heck is going on here? Well, they subscribed to all the things. And so I don't know how they made money doing it. Maybe they used affiliate links. I don't know. But anyway, if your account was compromised, Roku sent you an email. to tell you your account was compromised. Maybe you saw the email. Maybe it went to promotions. Maybe it went to spam. If you're an AOL user, and yes, people still use AOL for email, it probably just went into the cyber hole somewhere because it happens all the time with AOL email. Most of the time it ends up in the junk folder when it's not actually junk. So if you have Roku, just as an abundance of caution, just change your password. Just go in there and change your password to something else that is not the same as a password you're using somewhere else to protect that account, and double check your subscriptions to make sure that you're not going to get the extra bonus content on the next Shark Week. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us. 888, if you're outside the Omaha metro area, that is 888-250-2091. Gordon, stay on the line. Your call is coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations solid-state laptops are engineered locally for speed and reliability you just can't get from the major national brands. Each of our laptops starts off with an Asus chassis. We remove the stock drives and memory and upgrade them with higher-performing components. This unlocks the full potential of the laptop, making the unit up to 25% faster. This is why Schrock solid-state laptops last so much longer than the competition. If your laptop starts out 25% faster, that means over time it doesn't slow down nearly as fast.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive.
When your computer has a warranty and you have a problem, don't call the manufacturers for help. Call Schrock Innovations. Schrock will contact HP, Dell, Asus, Samsung, or any other manufacturer to arrange a warranty repair at no cost to you. We know how these companies work. We know the loopholes and the tricks to get your system repaired under warranty as quickly as possible. Even so, manufacturers can take up to 21 days to fix your computer. We'll give you the option of a fast local repair in one of our service centers or provide you with a loaner laptop to use while you wait. We can even back up your data before we ship your computer, just in case the warranty fix includes a hard drive wipe. Schrock tests your computer when it comes back from repair to ensure the problem was solved properly and all of your hardware works like new. There's a reason Schrock Innovations is consistently voted the best in town. Whenever you need help, wherever you need it, Schrock Innovations makes your computer work for you.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in to Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. It was funny, earlier this week I filled in on one of our affiliate stations, and of course the first 2 or 3 segments, I'm like, and welcome back into Compute... not Compute This, sorry. Now I'm like, welcome back into News Radio, you'll go Compute This. Got to make that mental switch. That's why I'm not a professional, guys. I am a humble AM radio amateur star, not the professional rock star Taylor Swift AM radio star that you would expect. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us on the program. Gordon, welcome to the show today. Thanks for taking the time to call in. How can I help you on Compute This?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I don't know if this is fixable or not, but a few days ago, I woke up to find that the computer had done some update. And yeah, I'm still running 10, but I have the toggle, the security, set for get the updates as soon as they're available.
Yes.
So don't you know? Excuse me. I was working on a project, doing all sorts of research and so on. I had one page of Firefox open, and one page of LibreWolf open.
Okay.
And I'm not slinging arrows at you. I heard you say a few weeks ago that this LibreWolf, you were trying that, and yeah, I really like that. At any rate, doggone if they didn't, for some reason, it closed down LibreWolf during the update, and I lost several tabs of stuff that I had found. And of course, so I tried. After it got going, I did not run CCleaner. So I thought, well, maybe if I just hit the list all tabs, but there was nothing there.
Right. Yeah, I haven't tested the functionality of the Wolf browser, LibreWolf, yet when in the restart situation. So what what Firefox will do, if the browser is closed, if the program is ended, which is different than exiting a program. So if the program is suddenly ended, like a restart or a power outage or something like that, when you load Firefox again, it asks you if you want to restore the tabs that you had open, and you can say yes, and then it's like boom, it just opens up all the tabs again. I don't know if LibreWolf, I haven't tested to see if LibreWolf has that capability, but my guess would be, being such a new browser, it probably doesn't have all of the nuances that Firefox has yet at this point, but I would assume that's something that's going to be added at some point. So yeah, my wife is the same way. I mean, if you, Gordon, if you turn off her computer or close, the other day she had me buy her memory for her computer, and every day I'm like, hey, can I put your memory in? And she's like, no, I got a bunch of tabs open. You know, I'm like, well, okay. And then finally the day came where she's like, I'm not doing anything with it. You can put it in now. So I did, and then now we're good to go. So I think everybody's been through that, Gordon, where you had a bunch of tabs open for things you were looking into or researching, and then pew, you got zapped. But so I'm sorry that happened to you. But yeah, you know, LibreWolf is one of the most private browsers. It's even more private than Firefox. So that could also be part of the issue, where it's not going to remember the tabs you're on, because if it remembers the data, that means it's storing the data. And if you're storing data, you're transmitting data. And if you're transmitting data, then what's the point of having a secure browser? Thanks for the call, Gordon. I appreciate you joining us on the program today. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us if you'd like to take a shot at that $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Linda, welcome to the program. What can I do for you on Compute This today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you. I wanted to just let you know that I am very, very appreciative of your service center there in West Omaha. My husband and I had been experiencing major difficulty with our monitor for our desktop computer, which is a Schrock computer, Schrock components and everything. We ended up having to call your service center many times, and then we ended up going down to the service center a couple times, and we finally got the resolution, and it ended up being a bad power cord to the
of all the dumb
to
things.
the monitor. But, you know, I want to tell you, I think you should be so proud of your employees and so proud of the service that you provide, because all of that time, everyone treated us with respect and dignity. No, everyone was unassuming. They were unassuming, and they accepted us for the knowledge that we had or didn't have about computers. And there was never one single comment made to make us feel bad about not knowing what it was. They continued to work with us until it was resolved. I happen to work in a service industry myself, and believe me, Schrock, there are many things that could be learned from your group about how to treat people.
Well, thank you so much for that call, Linda. Linda, like literally, I'm like, okay, my eyes are getting moist. Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to call in and say that. And you know, one of the things I'll point out is, look at the world we're living in. You know, the highest praise you can possibly give, Linda just gave us, and it was because, and your people didn't even treat me like I was stupid, or anything like that. I mean. How far have we fallen? The baseline expectation is they didn't insult me when I was giving them money. You know, it's Linda, I really appreciate you taking the time to call. One of the things that we try to instill in our customers, we have a lot of young guys working for us, and there's a lot of people who are down on Gen Z and, you know, this, that, and the other. And let me tell you, there are some absolute lazy sons of biscuits in Gen Z, but there are in Gen X, and you know, there's lazy boomers too. And, you know, you have some of that in every generation, but there are some absolute gems, some people in this Gen Z age group that are literally going to be the driving force in our economy and in our politics and in our society in 10 or 20 years. And right now, you know, I just put a comment up on our LinkedIn. I haven't done anything on LinkedIn in a long time. I should use it more often for businessy purposes. But, you know, I took the time to put a post up about Jacob Denny, because he is just killing it. He's absolutely killing it over at Schrock. And, he's one of those junior technicians that if he continues to do what he's doing is really going to go far. So thank you for the call, Linda. I appreciate you taking the time to join us on the program, and I very much appreciate your compliments today. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. One of the things that we're doing on this maintenance checkup special, we needed to test Drive Advisor to make sure it's working in a multitude of different environments before we push it out to every customer. Now, why are we doing an update to Drive Advisor in the first place? The old version of Drive Advisor 1.0, was designed when people had either mechanical hard drives or those 2.5-inch, like a laptop size SATA, solid state drive. All those drives reported smart data. So all we had to do was read the smart data, calculate the health. Anything under 99% is basically a hard drive that's had a heart attack, and you should replace it. So there you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Well, while we developed that, and for the last 7 or 8 years we've had it out there, a new type of hard drive was released called an NVMe hard drive. It does not contain smart data. It is way faster than other solid-state hard drives. That's what we put in all of our new computers now. And Drive Advisor can't see those hard drives. And even when it does see them, it gives them a 100% health rating all the time unless they lose capacity, unless the amount of available total memory drops. If one of the memory cells dies on the thing, well, you'll notice because your files are gone and your computer won't boot, but then it'll knock the health of the drive. So it wasn't an accurate representation of the health of the drive because you measure these NVMEs based on their wear level, how much the chips have been used because they only have a certain amount of life in them. So we had to come up with a new algorithm to check what type of hard drive it is and what the wear level was, if it has smart data, if it doesn't have smart data. And that's what Drive Advisor 2.0 was designed to do. When we figured while we're at it, we have the ability to test batteries too. So let's go ahead and throw the battery testing component in there. I know it's Drive Advisor and this isn't a drive, it's a battery, but it's handy to know if your laptop battery is going to swell and die. I have a 2020 holiday special laptop I'm broadcasting the show on right now. My battery is at 78% health. It's in the recommended to replace category. Now, will it run on battery? Yes. Will it run on battery for a pretty good amount of time? Yeah, but 20% less time than it did when it was new. When it drops below 50%, that's when they start to swell and get all kinds of issues and maybe only last a few minutes on battery, things like that. Well, then you're going to get an indication that your battery needs to be replaced. So literally, this application is coded in a different language, and it is the gateway to what will eventually be the Schrock app, where we'll have all of the services. It'll basically be your Schrock account right on the desktop of your computer. So it's going to be really, really neat, really handy. But right now, it's Drive Advisor, and we're installing it on computers that come in on the bench so that we can install it. We can make sure it's running. If there's a problem, our coders have a chance to say, why didn't it work on this computer specifically? And they can figure out why, and then they can update the program to make it work for other people. We pushed out a lot of updates in the last week to Drive Advisor for different minor situations, for things that we just didn't anticipate ever happening because everyone's computer is randomly different. So one of the things one of the updates that happened was, in some cases, your computer may not automatically launch Drive Advisor when the computer starts up. That's a problem, right? You want it to launch automatically. If it never launches automatically, it'll never update. And if it never updates, you're never going to get the update that gets it to launch automatically all the time. So what I'd like you to do is, if you had your computer in for a maintenance checkup, down in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see the Drive Advisor little brick. And if it's expanded, it'll be a black box with all the drive and battery information in it. If you have it minimized, it's just a little box that says Drive Advisor. If you don't see that, go ahead and hit start and just type Drive Advisor and then hit enter, or drive, and you'll see it pop up as a suggestion. And click on Drive Advisor to load it. When you run it, it's going to update to the most recent version, and that will cause it to update or to run every time you start the computer, so you don't have to think about it, as well as get some bug fixes for like all the updates we've had for the last week. We're getting real close, guys, real close to being able to push this out the door and call it done and done. There's a few minor things we're tweaking still, but once we have that all straightened out, I'll make it available as a beta to those people, to Schrock customers, maybe people who listen to the Aftershock, stuff like that. And then once we do that, once that goes well, then we know everything is perfect. We're going to push it out to every Drive Advisor user as an update for Drive Advisor 1.0. You'll get it automatically. So there's your update on Drive Advisor, guys. It's only available to people who come into Schrock Innovations and get the maintenance checkup or some other service on our bench right now. The reason is we want to make sure the installation goes carefully, so we're not just putting the link up and having everybody download it. We want to make sure we want to look at each install and make sure we had a really solid product before we push it into your house. So if you come in for a maintenance checkup, you get a little extra bonus this time around over at Schrock Innovations. Yet another reason to take advantage of that 40% off deal right now. Maintenance checkups are 40% off. They're normally $100. They're on sale for $59.99. You can either come into the service center. There's no appointment required. Turnaround times are still 24 to 48 hours right now in the service center, so that's going real good. Or you can go to SchrockInnovations.com, go to Shop and Specials, and you can add a certificate to your cart. Get a certificate for each computer you'll want to maintenance in the next 6 months. Save the money now. Use it any time that's convenient for you in the next 6 months. So that's a hands-down easy way to take care of it. If that's, if you're maybe on vacation right now, or you have plans that don't involve getting your computer maintenance right now, but you know that you want that peace of mind of knowing that your hardware is okay, that your battery's not chilling at 78% health. I didn't know that my battery in my laptop was 78% health until I ran Drive Advisor. And I'm the guy that tests your battery. It's kind of like the mechanic that drives the beater. You just never has time to really get around to fixing his own car because he's always fixing other people's cars. 402-558-1110. Outside the metro area, 888-250-2091. Larry, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yeah, thanks, or love your show.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here.
Say, I've never entered a credit card on my Roku account, so should I be at all concerned?
No, I would change your password just to be safe anyway, because the day may come sometime in the future where you'll enter a credit card for some reason. And if you do that and the account gets compromised, yeah. So I would definitely just change your password out of an abundance of caution. Thanks, Larry.
And I'm sure I've forgot my password. Is that going to be a hassle to figure it out?
Well, you know what? Two birds with one stone, Larry. There's a handy password recovery function that basically you hit a link and it sends you an email, and then you click on the link that comes to you in the email, and it allows you to create a new password that you'll remember, that you know. So I would just use the password reset feature to create a whole new password, and not only do you now know your Roku password, but you've also reset it. So done and done.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, thanks for the call, Larry. Appreciate it. Don, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Well, Thor, I've had both my desktop and my laptop into you guys a couple of times for maintenance, and neither of them are new enough or fancy enough that they can take 11.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I need to replace something, but I don't use them both a lot. And I've heard you talk about using laptops more and more, and do they still make like docks or something that I could? Just 75-year-old eyes don't always focus on that 17-inch screen as well as they do on my 24-inch screen.
Well, yeah, my 47-year-old eyes sometimes don't work as well on one monitor as three. So
yeah.
I get what you're saying. Having that 33-inch monitor is a lot better than having my 15.6-inch monitor here on my laptop. So to answer your question, back in the day, they made these like specific docking stations for each computer, and these were big with Dell and Gateway and Compaq and HP.
I was thinking about buying one of your modulars.
Mm-hmm.
And because if I drop a couple of $100 into the maintenance that needs to be done on two computers that are only good for another year, that's kind of silly. When if I spend $400-500 more, I get something that I can use.
Yeah, and absolutely. As far as docking stations now, it's all gone to USB. So you have a USB thing that you plug into it, and you can use it basically like a regular computer, but you don't even need the docking station to do what you're trying to do.
Okay.
The laptops, all of our solid-state laptops come with an HDMI port in the side that you can plug a monitor into. You can get a wireless keyboard and mouse for like $70 that you can then put the little dongle in another USB port, and now you've got a keyboard and mouse. We can set up the laptop. You can either use that laptop screen as like a second monitor if you wanted to, or we can set the laptop up so that you can just close the lid and it runs with the lid shut. And so then you can just slide it back, under the monitor. Basically, you've got a keyboard, mouse, and a monitor. It's like a desktop, but it's a laptop. It's kind of neat. So we can totally do that. The other thing is on that holiday special desktop, we can give it what's called a core upgrade. And what a core upgrade does is it will give you a new motherboard, a new processor, new memory. It'll basically get everything up to spec for Windows 11, and it will be hundreds of dollars cheaper than buying a brand new computer. We can even bring it up to the spec of last year's holiday special with the core upgrade. So we can literally give you like the 7000 series Ryzen 7. We can do the 64 gigs of DDR5 memory. We can do the 2 terabyte solid state hard drive. We can put all that together for you, and it will cost less than if you would have bought the holiday special at the holiday special price, because we're upgrading your computer rather than replacing everything that doesn't need to be replaced.
And I can transfer my Sophos off my desktop onto it.
Absolutely. Any subscriptions you have with Schrock, whether it's Sophos or Secure Updater, will transfer to a new computer. We have some people that don't renew because they're like, oh, I got rid of my computer, got a new one. Well, let us transfer the subscription to your new computer then so that your new computer is protected. Let us know if you replace your device, and then we'll transfer it for you.
I'll come down to the Lincoln store on my way to work on probably on Tuesday or Wednesday and talk to one of the techs. Those guys have always treated me really, really well.
Sounds good. I'll tell Alex and Grant that you'll be stopping by.
Yeah, and what's funny is I actually know where the store was, and I had to remind you where it was a year or so ago.
Well, yeah, because I was saying it was on 14th Street, because when you're given directions, there is no way to turn onto 15th Street from Pine Lake Road, so you got to turn on 14th Street. And the building, the one side faces 14 and the other side faces 15. So I'm like, yeah, it's over just south of Pine Lake on 14th. And you're like, no, Thor, it's your own store. It's on 15th Street. You should know that.
You just tell Alex Don will be by, and we'll get this all taken care of. And can I just I can just recycle my other ones at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. We recycle all computer gear at Schrock at no cost, except for monitors are $20, and all-in-ones count as monitors and printers as well are $20. Thanks for the call, Don. I appreciate you joining us on the show. We're a little bit late here, so I got to take a quick break. We got a bunch of calls coming up, and we got to get to the segment about the cool AI robot that'll scare the hell out of you. Isn't that fun? Coming up next on Compute This.
Computer problems usually don't just suddenly happen. Most failures usually start out as small issues with few or no symptoms. Over time, they grow into error messages, blue screens, and other problems that can be costly to fix. Schrock Innovation's biannual preventative maintenance checkup catches those small problems now before they can metastasize and become tomorrow's costly repairs. During the maintenance checkup, our experienced technicians perform up to 8 hours of tests, checks, automated repairs, and optimizations that keep your computer at peak efficiency while identifying potential issues while you still have options about how to handle them. When your computer gets its first checkup, it can see up to a 25% performance improvement and leaves our service center cleaned, sanitized, and running better than the day you bought it. Just about every complex device requires maintenance. Your computer is no different, especially considering the valuable information that passes through it every day. If you have not had your computer maintenance in the past 6 months, you are overdue. Stop in or call any of our service centers to arrange a free pickup to ensure your computer continues to work for you.
Alrighty, folks, I failed to mention earlier in the show that you can pick us up live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovation. Stay tuned after the program. Give me about 6 minutes or so to reset, and then we'll be back with the After Schrock. During the Aftershock this week, we've got some dueling views on Bitcoin happening right now. And I know that for some people, cryptocurrency is super interesting, and for some people, they could really care less. But there's some weird stuff happening in Bitcoin right now, and the price just took a big nosedive over the weekend. So we're going to tell you what's going on, why that's happening, and what could happen in the future with it. Also, we're going to have some fun. You guys know who Don Lemon is, right? The former CNN guy. Well, he got a new gig with Elon over on X, just like Tucker Carlson does. And he was going to have a show on X. And X was going to actually promote the show and help him get it off the ground and everything else. His first interview was with Elon. You can't get interviews with Elon. This is amazing. And then Don Lemon asked him really pointed, attack-worthy questions. And everyone's like, he ticked him off so much that Elon fired Don Lemon after the interview. Well, that's not quite the whole story. So as Steve Harvey would say, Stay tuned for the rest of the story. 402-558-1110. We're going to get to that nasty AI robot thing in a minute here, but first we got some callers that have been on hold for a bit, and I really appreciate you taking the time to call me, Marilyn. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi, Thor.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Okay. And happy St. Patrick's Day.
You too.
My question is about maintenance checks, because I just bought the holiday special this past December.
Thank you.
So when do I need to start doing maintenance checks?
Oh, that's such a great question, and I can't believe in my abundance of talking about it, I didn't tell everybody. PC World magazine has recommended maintenance every 6 months on your computer. Can you stretch that to once a year? In many cases, you can. The longer you go without maintenance, the more likely it is something is going to sneak up on you. Some people say, I've never maintained a computer in my life, and I've never had a problem. Well, then why have you bought new computers? So basically, what I would suggest, you just got it, in December or January, so there's no need for maintenance right now. You're not due for maintenance until like July or so. Well, get that certificate from SchrockInnovations.com. It's good for 6 months. It'll allow you to save 40% on the cost of the checkup, and you can redeem it anytime it's convenient for you. So I would definitely recommend getting the certificate and then using it when your maintenance time comes around June, July-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate you staying on hold there and taking the time to give us a call on the program. Bob, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No sweat. It's what we're here to do.
First of all, I wanted to give a shout-out to Kyle in the Omaha Service Center. He's helped me the last 2 times I'm in, and he's great. He's a gem.
Oh, yeah. We love him, too. And then that hair, he's got the hair, you know what I mean?
Yes, he does. The only other thing I wanted to say as a testimonial for your maintenance checkup and the service you guys do is I've trusted you with my computers for almost 15 years now, but I bought a big box store laptop, and I got 12 years out of it with your help. Just kind of putting that out there, and I got the maintenance checkup, maybe not every 6 months, but every 12 to 18 months, and I think the only thing I had done with it is I had my, I got the solid-state hard drive when you had that sale.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 12 years ago, the thing would have come with a mechanical drive. That must have been like night and day. I remember when nobody had solid-state hard drives, and we would do free installs on solid-states in Januaries.
Yeah,
and
that's what I did.
Yeah, and then people will come in, and then so we would time them. Like, you took your computer like 6.5 minutes to fully load up. With the mechanical drive, we put the solid-state in, and it's loaded in 6.5 seconds now. Isn't that awesome? And customers, we they come in to pick up the computer. We'd open it on the front counter and say, just watch this. This is so cool. And keep in mind, it's going to be a little slower, sir, because it's running on battery. Things don't run as fast on a laptop when you're on battery as they do when you're on power. So please understand. And then so they're all prepared for like, maybe 3.5 minutes, and you hit the button and it's up in like 10 seconds. And they're like, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, those were the best.
But that's all I have.
All right. Hey, thank you for the call, Bob. I appreciate you taking the time to give us a buzz on the show and let us know how you were able to keep that computer running for 12 flipping years. Man, that's crazy stuff. On Facebook, we have Janie saying, do you recommend Windows 11 over Windows 10? I absolutely do. Windows 10 is going the way of the dodo, October of 25, so you want to get out of that as soon as you can and get into Windows 11 to get all the newest stuff. So we've been saying for a while that robotics and ChatGPT are going to get together and have a little baby that's going to scare the heck out of you. Well, it's happening now. There's a robot prototype that you can look at. There's a 2-minute video of it. The robot is it's made by a company called Figure. It's called Figure 01, Model 1. And it had a table of stuff. And it said, describe what you see. It said, I see an apple, I see a plate, I see dishes. And then the guy says, give me something to eat. And then the robot picks up the apple and hands him the apple. Then it says, what's the next step for the dishes on the table? Let's put them in the dish thing. Okay, great. It knew all this stuff. It was amazing. There was a little bit of a delay when it was talking, but otherwise it was smooth as silk. Larry, congratulations. You're the winner of the $25 gift certificate. We'll get a hold of you on Monday to get that into your hands, and we'll see you next Sunday for Compute This.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio with location